Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive into the world of Kubernetes.
Yeah.
Today we're going deep on a topic that's absolutely essential for anyone building applications on Kubernetes,
That's right.
and that's networking.
Networking is key
You know, we hear about Cilium and Istio all the time.
all the time.
These are two really popular solutions,
Mm-hmm.
and they both offer powerful ways to manage this whole communication piece between your microservices, which gets really complex as things scale up.
As things get bigger. Yeah.
So we're going to be using this fantastic article called Comparing Cilium and Istio, choosing the right tool for your cloud-native network needs
Oh, it's a great article.
as our guide today.
Yeah.
And by the end of this deep dive, you'll be able to choose the best tool
Hopefully.
for your own Kubernetes project.
Absolutely.
So let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Cilium. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's often described as using this almost magical technology called eBPF.
The magic of eBPF. So what's the deal with eBPF and why is it such a big deal for Cilium?
Well, it's really all about efficiency.
Okay.
eBPF allows Cilium to operate directly within the Linux kernel, which is like the heart of your operating system.
Okay.
And so imagine like having a super efficient traffic cop right there at the source, like directing network packets with incredible precision and speed. And that's what eBPF enables Cilium to do.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's like right there in the kernel where all the action's happening.
Exactly.
Got it.
It's all about that low-level access.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But doesn't running everything in the kernel limit Cilium's flexibility?
That's a great question.
Like compared to, say, Istio's approach?
Yeah. It's true that working directly on the kernel does impose some constraints. But Cilium has evolved quite a bit, and it offers a surprising level of flexibility these days.
Oh, okay.
And you have to remember that performance boost that we talked about,
Yeah.
that can be a real game changer in certain scenarios, particularly when latency is a major concern.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like if every millisecond counts.
Exactly.
Right.
That's where Cilium shines.
All right. So speed is definitely one of Cilium's strong suits. But what else makes it stand out?
Yeah.
The article also mentioned its prowess in security.
Yeah, security is a big one.
Yeah.
Cilium is really a champion when it comes to security. And a big part of that is because of its powerful network policy enforcement.
Okay.
So you see network policies, they act like these micro firewalls for your Kubernetes pods. And they dictate exactly how these pods are allowed to interact
Oh, I see.
with each other.
So it's like having a strict bouncer at the door of each pod, making sure only authorized communication gets through.
You got it.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And that's got to be super important in a Kubernetes environment where, security breaches can be really costly.
Absolutely.
So Cilium's helping you implement this like zero trust security model.
Exactly. Zero trust is becoming the gold standard
Yeah.
for modern applications.
Now, when we talk about zero trust,
Yeah.
what does that really mean, like in the context of Kubernetes?
So in a zero trust environment,
Okay.
you basically assume that no part of your system is inherently trustworthy, not even the components within your own network.
Wow. Okay.
So every connection,
Yeah.
every request needs to be verified and authorized.
So you're not trusting anything.
Exactly. You're always verifying.
Right.
It might sound extreme,
Yeah.
but it's absolutely essential for protecting your applications
Right.
in today's complex and interconnected world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You just can't be too careful.
So Cilium's tight security measures are designed to fit into that zero trust philosophy.
That's right.
But if I remember correctly,
Yep.
it can also do some service mesh stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. I thought that was more Istio's territory.
You're right.
Yeah.
Cilium's primary focus is on networking and security, but it does offer some lightweight service mesh capabilities. And this is a key difference between Cilium and Istio.
Got it.
While Cilium provides like a taste of service mesh functionality,
Okay.
Istio is like a full-fledged service mesh platform built from the ground up for managing these complex microservice interactions.
Right. So Cilium kind of dips its toes into the service mesh pool.
Yeah, little taste.
A little bit.
Exactly.
But Istio is like fully submerged.
Yeah, born and raised in the service mesh world.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
now, while Cilium offers that little taste of service mesh,
Okay.
let's explore a tool that's built entirely around that concept. Istio.
All right, let's talk Istio.
So could you paint a picture for us of what a service mesh actually is
Sure.
and why it's becoming so essential in these microservices architectures?
Okay, so imagine your application as this bustling city
Okay.
with numerous interconnected neighborhoods.
All right. I'm picturing it.
And each neighborhood represents a microservice,
Hmm.
each responsible for a specific function.
Okay.
Now, picture a sophisticated transportation system that manages the flow of traffic between these neighborhoods,
Gotcha.
ensuring smooth and efficient movement.
So the service mesh is like the roads and the traffic lights?
Exactly.
And maybe even the GPS navigation?
It's more than just basic connections.
Right.
A service mesh provides this layer of abstraction
Okay.
that handles tasks like service discovery, traffic routing, load balancing, and even security policies,
Wow.
all without requiring changes to the microservices themselves.
So it's like taking care of all that behind-the-scenes stuff.
Exactly. It's like the unsung hero.
So the microservices can just focus on their specific tasks.
You got it.
Yeah, okay. That sounds really powerful.
It is.
And Istio is considered like one of the leading platforms for implementing a service mesh, right?
That's right. Istio offers a comprehensive set of features that give you incredible control over how your microservices communicate. It's like having a master conductor,
Okay.
orchestrating a symphony of services,
I like that analogy.
making sure they all work together harmoniously and efficiently.
All right, so it's not just about establishing those connections.
Right.
It's about fine-tuning and managing those connections in a very sophisticated way.
Absolutely. We're talking next-level control here.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's dive into some of those key features
Let's go.
that make Istio such a powerful tool
Okay.
for managing microservice communication.
All right.
So Istio can do a lot more than just,
Oh, yeah.
connect microservices.
Way more.
Yeah, so what are some of the specific ways that it gives you that fine-grained control?
Okay, so one of the things that Istio really excels at is traffic management. You can do things like route traffic based on specific conditions like HTTP headers
Okay.
or user identity. And this lets you easily implement things like A/B testing,
Oh, interesting.
canary deployments, or even blue-green deployments.
So you could like route a small percentage of your users to a new version of a service
Exactly.
to kind of test it out in the real world
Yeah, like a real-world test.
before rolling it out to everyone.
Exactly. It's all about controlled rollouts.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Istio makes it super easy to experiment with these different deployment strategies.
Yeah.
And control how traffic flows through your application.
Wow. Okay. The article also highlighted Istio's security features
Yeah.
and its detailed observability.
Security and observability, two huge pillars
Yeah.
of a successful service mesh.
Can you unpack those a bit more for us?
Sure, let's start with security.
Okay.
As you know, security is paramount in a microservices world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Istio really shines here.
Okay.
It offers a robust security framework with features like mutual TLS encryption.
Now, can you remind me what mutual TLS encryption is all about?
Oh, sure. So with mutual TLS, both the client and the server verify each other's identities before they exchange any data.
Okay.
So this ensures that communication is encrypted and protected from things like eavesdropping or tampering.
Gotcha. So it's like having a secure private conversation where
Yeah.
both parties know they're talking to the right person.
It's all about that trust.
Right. So it's not just about encrypting the data,
Right.
but about making sure you're talking to a legitimate service.
Exactly. Authentication is key.
Right.
Yeah.
And beyond encryption,
Yeah.
Istio also offers powerful authorization mechanisms,
It does.
including role-based access control, or RBAC.
Yes, RBAC is very powerful.
So this allows you to define like fine-grained policies
Exactly.
that determine which services can access which resources.
Yes, so you can control things like which microservices are allowed to read data from a particular database or call certain APIs.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you can really lock things down.
It's all about controlling access.
All right, and what about observability?
Observability, okay.
I'm guessing that's all about getting a clear picture of what's happening in your service mesh?
Absolutely. Observability is all about understanding how your system is behaving.
Okay.
And Istio provides a ton of tools for this.
Like what kind of tools?
Well, it gives you deep insights into things like traffic flows,
Okay.
performance metrics, and even distributed tracing.
What's distributed tracing?
Oh, it's really cool.
Okay.
Imagine being able to follow a request as it journeys through your entire application, hopping from one microservice to another.
Okay.
With distributed tracing, you can see the path the request took, how long it spent in each service, and you can even identify any bottlenecks
Oh, wow.
or performance issues along the way.
So if something goes wrong,
Yeah.
you can pinpoint exactly where the issue occurred,
Exactly. You can follow the breadcrumbs.
even in a complex system with, hundreds of microservices.
Exactly. Distributed tracing gives you that X-ray vision.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
It's essential for troubleshooting
Yeah.
and optimizing complex applications.
Okay, so now we've talked about how Istio uses those sidecar proxies,
Right.
specifically Envoy.
Envoy.
And I know this is a key difference from Cilium's approach.
It is a fundamental difference.
Yeah, can you walk us through how the sidecar pattern works and what implications it has?
Okay, so with Istio, each microservice in your application gets this companion container called a sidecar.
Okay.
And this sidecar contains the Envoy proxy,
Right.
which intercepts all incoming and outgoing traffic for that service.
Okay, so instead of talking directly to each other,
Yeah.
the microservices are essentially talking through their respective sidecar proxies.
Exactly. The sidecar acts as an intermediary,
Hmm.
handling tasks like routing, load balancing, encryption, and observability.
But doesn't this extra layer of indirection introduce some performance overhead?
So that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's true that sidecar proxies can add some latency to requests
Okay.
because each request has to be processed by the sidecar before it reaches the actual service.
Right.
And the response follows the same path in reverse.
So it's a trade-off then.
Yeah.
You get all this amazing control and functionality from Istio,
You do.
but at the potential cost of some performance.
Right. But the performance impact is often quite minimal, especially compared to the benefits that they bring.
Right.
And Envoy itself is highly optimized for performance, so the latency is often negligible in many real-world scenarios.
Okay, that makes sense. So it seems like both Cilium and Istio have their own strengths and weaknesses.
They do. Every tool has its trade-offs.
Right. And the article we're looking at actually has a handy table
Oh, yeah.
comparing these two tools head to head.
Head-to-head matchup.
Yeah, should we walk through some of the key points in that table to help our listeners get a clearer picture of the differences?
Absolutely. Let's break it down.
Okay, so let's break down this comparison table.
Sounds good.
First up, we have the purpose category.
Okay.
The article says that Cilium is all about networking and security with that lightweight service mesh we talked about, while Istio is a full-fledged service mesh platform for microservices.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah. That's a good summary. I think of Cilium as like this powerful and efficient tool that excels in those core areas
Right.
of networking and security
Yeah.
while offering some of those basic service mesh capabilities.
You're right. Right.
Istio, on the other hand,
Yeah.
is that comprehensive platform
Yeah.
specifically designed to manage those complexities of microservice communication.
Got it. Okay, next we have technology. We've already discussed this quite a bit,
We have.
but it's worth reiterating.
It's fundamental.
Cilium leverages eBPF for its performance,
Right.
while Istio relies on those Envoy proxies deployed as sidecars. And this fundamental difference really seems to shape their strengths and weaknesses.
It really does. It's all about the underlying architecture.
Right.
Cilium's use of eBPF allows it to operate at a very low level, close to the kernel,
Right.
resulting in some pretty impressive performance gains.
Yeah.
Istio's sidecar model, however, provides a lot of flexibility for implementing those advanced features,
Right.
like the traffic management and security policies that we talked about.
Right. Okay, the next category is performance.
Performance. Okay.
And I think we can guess what the table says here.
I think so.
Cilium gets the edge
Yeah,
because it doesn't have those sidecars adding extra hops to the network path.
exactly. Less hops equals faster performance.
Right. But as we discussed, those sidecars in Istio, they give you a ton of control.
They do. Control is king.
Yeah. And speaking of control, let's move on to traffic management.
Okay, traffic management.
The table says that Cilium offers basic traffic routing, while Istio boasts advanced routing load balancing and even things like fault injection.
Yeah, Istio's traffic management is very sophisticated.
Okay, so what are some real-world examples where Istio's advanced traffic management would really shine?
So imagine you're running a large e-commerce site
Okay.
with hundreds of microservices.
Gotcha.
You want to ensure that your most critical services, like the shopping cart or payment gateway, are always available
Right.
and performing optimally.
Makes sense.
With Istio, you could implement some really sophisticated routing rules that direct traffic to healthy instances, automatically retry failed requests, and even limit the rate of requests to prevent overload.
So Istio acts like this intelligent traffic cop,
Exactly.
dynamically adjusting traffic flow based on those real-time conditions.
Real-time adjustments.
And your predefined policy.
It's all about intelligent traffic control.
Wow, that's really powerful. Okay, moving on to security.
Security, Armin.
The table points out that Cilium provides granular network policies and basic MTLS support,
Okay.
while Istio offers full MTLS encryption, RBAC, and a more robust authentication framework.
Yeah, security is a multi-layered challenge.
Right.
And both tools offer valuable capabilities.
Okay.
Cilium's strength lies in its ability to enforce those granular network policies at the kernel level, providing a strong foundation for zero-trust security.
Right.
Istio, however, takes a more comprehensive approach, offering advanced features like full anti-LS encryption and fine-grained access control through RBAC.
So Cilium is like a strong first line of defense.
Yeah, a good analogy.
While Istio provides more comprehensive protection throughout your entire service mesh.
Exactly. Defense in depth.
Got it. Okay, next we have observability.
Observability key for understanding your system.
Cilium relies on its integrated tool called Hubble,
All right.
while Istio provides advanced tracing, logging, and metrics. Both seem to offer valuable insights, but in different ways.
They do so with Cilium and Hubble. You get this deep visibility into network traffic flows
Okay.
and security events happening at that kernel level. This could be super valuable for understanding how your pods are communicating.
Yeah.
And identifying any potential security issues.
Right.
Istio, on the other hand, provides a more holistic view of your entire service mesh, including distributed tracing, which allows you to follow those requests as they travel through your application.
So different levels of visibility.
They're different perspectives.
Okay, finally we have ease of use.
It's ease of use, all right.
The table suggests that Cilium is generally easier to get started with, especially for core networking and security needs. Istio, with its more extensive feature set,
Right.
can have a steeper learning curve.
Yeah, there's a bit more to learn with Istio.
Right. If you're primarily focused on basic networking and security, Cilium's simplicity can be a big advantage.
Yeah, keep it simple.
However, if you need those advanced traffic management, security, and observability features that Istio offers,
Right.
you'll need to invest some time in learning its concepts and configuration.
Yeah. Istio takes a bit more effort up front.
Right. But it sounds like it's worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The power and flexibility that Istio provides is well worth the learning curve.
Okay, now that we've kind of dissected this comparison table,
Right.
let's talk about the million-dollar question.
The big decision.
When should you choose Cilium, and when should you go with Istio?
Okay, so the choice really depends on your specific needs and priorities.
Okay.
If you need a high-performance networking solution with a strong focus on security and maybe some basic service mesh features,
Right.
Cilium might be the perfect fit.
Yeah.
However, if you're dealing with a complex microservices architecture and need that granular control over traffic advanced security features and deep observability, then Istio is the way to go.
And just to clarify, you can use Cilium and Istio together.
Absolutely. It's not an either-or situation.
Okay, good.
They can actually complement each other really well.
How so?
Well, you could leverage Cilium for its high-performance networking and security at the lower level,
Okay.
while using Istio to manage the more complex interactions between your services at a higher level.
So you get the best of both worlds.
Exactly. It's all about choosing the right tool for the right job.
So to wrap things up,
All right.
it seems like choosing between Cilium and Istio really boils down to your specific needs and priorities.
It does.
Cilium for speed and efficiency, Istio for control and those advanced features.
It's all about finding the right balance.
Right, and remember, you can even use them together for a truly powerful combination.
Absolutely a dynamic duo.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of Cilium and Istio.
It has.
I've learned a lot.
Me too.
And I hope our listeners have too.
I hope so.
If you want to learn more about these incredibly powerful tools,
Yeah,
there are tons of resources available online.
definitely.
So keep exploring, keep experimenting,
And learning.
and keep building amazing things with Kubernetes.
Well said. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
And we'll see you next time.